War is expensive, like insanely expensive.
War isn't just fought with bombs, it's fought with billions of dollars. The US poured warships, marines, air power, and special forces into Venezuela.
And every single day of this deployment is like lighting stacks of $100 bills on fire.
It changed global energy markets. But the real story isn't just politics, it's the economic fallout. In other words, was this deployment a good investment?
Well, you, the taxpayer, should know what's going on.
Setting up the stage. So here's a little context about what happened. After months of naval buildup and operations in the Caribbean, Operation Southern Spear, the US launched a large-scale military mission on January 3, 2026. US forces captured Nicolás Maduro and his wife Cilia Flores in Caracas in a raid involving Air Force support, Delta Force operations, and extensive naval power. Maduro now faces charges in New York for narcoterrorism and drug trafficking, a first in history where a sitting head of state was brought to the US by force.
Mind your business.
Wow.
Sparking into existence some of the best memes I've ever seen.
He kept talking shit, and f***ing around though, and he ultimately found out.
For sure, the internet is still undefeated. The operation followed months of strikes at alleged narco-traffickers, vessels, and a naval oil tanker blockade under Operation Southern Spear, obviously creating a ton of controversy, debates, and lawsuits against Trump's administration. This wasn't a couple of ships buzzing around the coast. This was one of the largest Caribbean deployments in decades. So, what was deployed? Nearly a dozen warships, including the USS Gerald Air Force Carrier Strike Group. Yes, the one from the Avengers movie. The one that fly. Yes, amphibious assault ships like the USS Iwo Jima. Over 12,000 US personnel, 150 plus aircraft supporting from sea and air power elements. All of this was staged just miles from Venezuela's shore. Now, let's talk money. That's the part that actually affects your wallet. Cost breakdown. Estimate. Military deployments are like super premium subscriptions, expensive and hard to cancel. Carrier Strike Group, daily operation. Carrier USS Ford 7 to 8 million per day. Score destroyers and support ships 4 to 5 million per day. Marines and personnel, pay, allowances and logistics 2 million per day. Aircraft operations and fuel overhead 1 million plus. Total 14 to 16 million per day. That's enough to build 3 major hospitals or support 500,000 households with food assistance for a month. Over 30 days, this deployment easily could cost the US 400 to 500 million. Take in consideration that these are rough estimates and were made with public available information posted by the government and AI.
Why would the US spend so much money on this operation for months?
Is it really to free the people of Venezuela from an oppressive government?
Maybe. But the US justified it as a counter-narcotics and national security. Polls showed many Americans supported the intervention, including a large percentage of Hispanic voters, with some seeing Venezuela's oil potential as a factor in economic stability. Economics and oil. This is where the finance channel gets uncomfortably excited, because Venezuela has nearly
17% of the world's proven oil reserves. But after sanctions and production cuts, Venezuela's output has plunged over the years and exports nearly stopped. But under US supervision, Venezuela's production could ramp back up. Even moderate increase in output could generate billions in revenue. A reconstruction and investment cycle might unlock 1.6 to 2.7 billion in crude value. But that's just the start. Think about that. US gasoline prices could stabilize. Global supply dynamic shift. US refiners and trading firms get preferential access. But there's a catch. This isn't Venezuela magically becoming the next Saudi Arabia overnight. Mismanagement, sanctions, and infrastructure decay means oil fields need investment before production skyrockets. Going forward, economic management will be the real test. How does the US balance resource control with local recovery? How are oil revenues invested back into Venezuela's economy and regional markets? Can Venezuela transition from a narco state to a productive energy partner without destabilizing global supply? All of these questions tie directly to your portfolio: gas prices, trade balances, and even Fed policy. All this needs the US most active attention, and right now it seems like Trump's administration has been going through a lot of controversy. They're trying to win all battles at once. Now, if the US can intervene in Venezuela's and capture Maduro, who's next? And would Trump ever strike another geopolitical jackpot like Greenland, financially or strategically?